The Nollywood, like I call it, is an accidental industry. It came about as a result of an ingenious and enterprising man called Kenneth Nebwe, who in 1990, in the early 90s actually, or in late 80s, 90s, he was an entrepreneur in empty blank video cassettes. He used to import from Asia and Singapore and all the other places, and he would sell, people would buy them to record their weddings and all that. And he got a group of actors and directors and producers together and said he wanted to try out a movie.
Soap operas used to be the in thing in Nigeria. Then people looked up to television. So it was only about TV. But then again, all people had to do was just sit in front of the TV, watch it that week, and it's over. And the idea came from some man, as in, we've done this soap opera. Why don't we just compress it onto a tape? And rather than pirating an American video, let's put this in and see if it'll sell. That was how it started. It was called Living in Bondage. And they just put this kind of telenovela or whatever onto tape. Did some little advertising when people came and said, Nigerian one, it's good. And it was all about juju and all that. And people went for it. And it sold like wildfire. That was when people had the idea. Then the next thing, other people were like, great, maybe we should try doing another one. And that's how it started. It kept going. And that's Nollywood. That is Nollywood. It started like a risk, a small risk. Let's just do this. Let's put this on video and see if we can sell 500 copies or 1,000 copies. The guy who produced it had absolutely no background. They were just guys who would just sell normal American videos, and that's it. And some guy came, let's just put it on this soap opera onto film. And they put it, and it worked. So that is why Nollywood is the way it is. It's the way it started.
This is a private initiative industry that started without the input of government or any agency or NGO. Just like in other countries have loans from the European Union, NGOs supporting donations from other world trying to fund projects, but it's not the same in Nigeria here. These are individuals who saw reason to invest in the motion picture. You understand? And they found that by the time I put my money here, I'll make my money back.
Nollywood was built by us, our own hard-earned money. The government did not contribute a dime to Nollywood. I'm a businessman through and through. So if you want me to use my money and help, if you want me to make a movie to clean the Nigerian image, there must be some kind of financial contribution from you.
Most of us never ever believed that Nollywood would take us to where we are today, attend film festivals all over the world, give lectures and all that. But I also think that one of the most unique things about Nollywood is the fact that it is homegrown. We were able to bring about a very radical paradigm shift from traditional cinema of celluloid era and utilize to the full maximum digital video, which I think, in my own opinion, I thought digital video was used more or less invented to tell our own stories, and it has worked so far because an industry like Nollywood would not have succeeded if our people did not embrace it, if they didn't enjoy what we are bringing out.
But I think generally there's a lot of goodwill in Nigeria. I think that, as a matter of fact, the success of the Nigerian industry has been the patronage of its audience, who, despite all the shortcomings, because the movies they know are not masterpieces, still prefer them. They actually prefer the worst Nigerian home video to the best of American films. That is in itself shows that in spite of everything, it is in the interest of the Nigerian people to make sure that the filmmakers continue to make the story. I think it's collaboration of some sort, whether written down or not by the audience and the filmmakers.
What makes Tunde Kalonji Nollywood?
Because he shoots on Nollywood format. He shoots with
What is Nollywood format?
DV cam right now. That's the Nollywood format right now.
So what makes a film Nollywood? You have been referenced by all the people from Zeta, everybody we've interviewed. They say, well, I said, who do you look for when you want, as a peer, when you want to improve your own style? Your name was mentioned by all of them.
Well, I think that's because I insist that I'm not Nollywood. Because Nollywood, Nollywood connotes Hollywood, and whereas Hollywood is a physical entity, Nollywood is no place. It's just an aggregate of a group of people who are making films for the people, but who have mainly adopted to do it in the English language and do mostly city stories, and have their own huge following and market. They have their own stars. In other words, it's a sizable portion of an industry. And because of Nigeria's diversity, there are other types. For instance, in the Southwest, we have people who grew and transformed from the traditional traveling theater, who practiced on stage and then later drifted to television and then came into filmmaking and then used home video. Work mostly in the Yoruba language and culture. That's another group. And they come under an association, that's the Association of Nigerian Theater Practitioners. And you could see that in their films because they have retained most of their stage craftsmanship in their work. But I am a trained filmmaker. We use the same technology. It's all about storytelling. And I am what you could consider an alternative cinema. And perhaps that has borrowed from all those models. That is the entrepreneurship of Nollywood, the language and culture of the Southwest Yoruba, and with some cinematic interpretation, as a launch pad, as another, maybe if you like, style.
And initially they would come and take professional producers who are well versed in filmmaking, produce a film for me, and they'll make money. Somewhere along the line, they decided that, hey, is producing not all about having the funds and doing it ourselves? So they decided to become producers themselves. The marketers became producers themselves, and they came into the industry full force. And somewhere along the line, a lot of professionalism was thrown to the winds. It was all about, okay, there's money to be made. These guys are dictating, and they were calling the shots. So they will say, I want this actor, I want this actor, I want this actor. They were doing their own table casting. So that's why you will see most of our films, you will see the same faces in 200 films. They say, this is the person that's selling the film. This is the actor or the actress that will sell my film. And it became a problem.
The Hausa movies are part of the Nollywood. 1,000 films are released in the country annually. And out of this, about 33% of them come from Kano. Statistics shows that it's women and children that form the bulk of their audience. The boom of the industry arose because of unemployment, because of poverty.
But we cannot but remark that however popular the films may be, and however much in demand, the picture that the majority of them present of our world is one that we must not only interrogate, but indeed reject passionately. If what we seek is the transformation of our society into a modern, progressive
case. Even our friends outside have voiced the same unease about the ambiguity of Nollywood's achievements. The common question that people ask, as you know, is why this unceasing preoccupation with juju, this relentless celebration of dark rituals and diabolical cults? Practically every Nollywood director seems to have been caught in the spell. Mix a diet of grotesque borders and cacophonious chants and bizarre movements and incantations and smile all the way to your bank. Then again, those who wish to be different from the rest, who want to demonstrate the ineffectual power of juju rituals, what do? They show us scenarios where the brutish African cults and priests are overpowered and devastated by the agents of Christianity. Thus, one mythology replaces another. This time, the one imported from abroad simply replaces the barbaric local variants. Tarzan is reborn, only this time he is in black skin and wearing a cassock. And it is a sign of the deep damage done to our psyche and our consciousness by decades of European evangelism that the filmmakers themselves are blissfully unaware of the racist and cultural implications of this fare that they offer to the public. What I'm saying is that with all their commercial success, our films parade a number of serious deficiencies viewed from the cultural and ideological perspective.
That we should understand that Nollywood is an accident, in my own, words, that came out of our own, out of our own means of expression and means of crying out against a system, where Nollywood is a product of a system. However that system works, or whatever the system does, it does not matter, but it came out, and as an experiment, it has proven to be successful in some areas. But I think basically why there's a lot of Nollywood bashing is because we've had this kind of seminars before. It's going on for about 5 years, 6 years. The same thing we come every year to talk about. Nothing seems to be done.
One of the things that I would like to experiment with in a place like Nigeria is to set up a competitive distribution outlet that competes with those marketers.
People try, they kill you.